Welcome back to the parlay tonight. We got a special guest. We're going to talk a little about the UFC 275 card in Singapore. But first, an introduction for my man. He's a professional fighter in the UFC's welterweight division, a product of the Dana White's Contender Series, and a contract winner, a 7-1 professional record. Ladies and gentlemen, Orion Cosce.
Thanks for having me on, man.
What's up, man? How's everything been? How's training going?
Training's going really good. Just making sure to stay healthy. Obviously, going into that last fight, I recovered from the nerve damage in my neck, but then I ended up overtraining again and like 2 weeks out, getting a little bit of nerve damage back into the arm. And it's no excuse. When I was throwing that right hand, I couldn't feel it, so I wasn't sure if I was doing damage when we were both starting to fuck each other up in that second round.
Yep.
But that was a fun one, and I learned from it. So now I know that I can't just be overtraining all the time again. I do got to change it up just a little bit. So you live and you learn. And, yeah, I'm really looking forward to this upcoming fight. It got pushed back. So what I decided to do was take the last 2 weeks to just do more recovery, light mitts, light wrestling, not too much heavy training. And now I'm back into a fresh 8-week camp. That way I could have healed like any little like minor injuries that I was sustaining during training.
Right. Originally, you were supposed to be on this UFC 275 card in Singapore. So I know that's probably – and you're going to be fighting Blood Diamond. He's kind of got a big name, training at City Kickboxing, a gym that's getting a lot of recognition right now. I guess what does a win over a guy like Blood Diamond do for your career going forward?
I mean, the guy has a lot of notoriety in kickboxing, just not much in MMA. So I can't really say it does a lot. But then again, like – he can't really say the same about me either. We're both so early in our professional MMA careers. I would say definitely if I could go out there and show that my striking has definitely improved and use my wrestling with it, I feel like that does a lot for me. But he's 3-1. He got put in the UFC for a reason. He's a very, his accomplishments in the kickboxing scene are very like astounding. So I'm not going to take that away from him. He has very unorthodox striking, and I love it. But the way he strikes is, you hear a coach say, like, you shouldn't be striking like that, but it works for him. So, that's how styles are. And in his last outing, he didn't really get to do what he wanted to do. He got taken down pretty fast in that first round. And then we saw it from there. So, my wrestling, too, it's pretty high level. I have high level grappling. So we'll see what happens. Game plan is to go out there and just fucking try to whoop his ass, and his game plan is probably to try to go out there and whoop my ass too. So, if anything though, it does help me, stay in the UFC. I'm at that point where my first UFC fight was delayed. Like I was supposed to fight back in 2020, but then the nerve damage and the neck injury, and then I recovered and I didn't get to fight until 2021, and now I'm not gonna, now my next fight's in 2022, a year later. Just because we've had situations of not being able to get fights, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
But I'm at this point where this fight will definitely help me move up in the ranks, and that's all I want to do. I want to get this fight. Hopefully, God bless me to stay healthy in this fight, get a fast win, and get another quick fight right after that. I'm the kind of guy who'll fight 3 times in 5 weeks or 3 times in 3 weeks.
That's what Dana White wants to see, I think. So, and then fighting at Team Alpha Male, they're definitely going to have you guys. Have you ready for wrestling. They'll have a good game plan in place. I take it. What's it like training with guys like Uriah Faber? Just gaining some knowledge of the game, the wisdom he can teach you. What's it been like training at that camp?
Well, I've been in and out of there. So I've been in and out of there, and I'm doing my training all over the place. Like I'm not just at one gym. I don't believe in like you just need to be at one set gym to train. So if I'm back up in Humble, I'm training at Lost Place where I'm from, or if I'm at work, I'm training with guys there too. Like at my workplace, I got my striking coach Ezra. I got some wrestlers I can work with. It just depends. So like the last 2-3 weeks for sure, though, I was taking more time to just do like more like one-on-one focus stuff so I can allow myself to recover, not try to do too much high intensity stuff. But now, starting to get back into it Monday, I'm going to be at a lot more like big group session trainings. And even like tomorrow morning and stuff like that, I'll be going back in and getting some work in Friday and stuff like that. But,
excellent.
You can stay at one gym and that's good. That's okay. Or you can start getting different looks at all sorts of different like levels and different gyms. And that's the kind of training I like to have. I want to see like hey, I've never trained with this one dude before. I want to know how I do against him. And, it doesn't have to be a hard spar, or if it's like a world-class wrestler, say he doesn't want to go to Alpha Male. Okay, then I got to go meet up with him somewhere else so I can get that wrestling in. But there's definitely a lot of high caliber athletes at Alpha Male.
Right.
And I definitely love that gym for a reason. So Uriah is more like he's just a coach there. I walk around at 195, 200. Right. He's a smaller guy, but he's a really cool dude, and he's definitely a fun coach to be around.
Awesome. And real quick, Dana White's Contender Series, walk me through. I think a lot of people see the production and they see, the show, but what happens leading up to that? Were they scouting you, or did you just get a phone call and they're like, hey, there's an opportunity. We want you to hop in, take this fight. How's that whole process work?
It came down to my fight up in Humboldt. Like, they said it was impressive. And I mean, all my fights, no matter what round it was in, I always finish my fights. That's what I look for. I'm always looking for the finish. I'm not the guy I can be up 2-0, and if my corner tells me, like, hey, just go out there, get a takedown, control the round, you'll win the fight, I'm going to tell my corner, get the fuck out of my corner, because I'm not that kind of fighter. I'm going to look for the finish. Yep. That's why fans like – I mean, I hope fans like me, but I'm always going to be looking for the finish. I don't want to be that boring-ass lame fighter that leaves it to the judges all the time. I mean, there's fighters like that, but it's not a good thing, especially with the way the judging has been as of lately. Like, you can clearly win a fight, and then somehow you lose a split decision or it ends up a draw. So I've always said, if fuck the judges, I'll never trust them, because they don't know what the hell they're talking about. None of them have ever fought in their life.
Right.
But the leading up to the Dana White Contender Series, I ended up getting onto the same management as my brother. And then I was like, hey, like, cool, let's try to find a fight. And he hit me up. He's like, hey, bro, like, we got a fight for you and your brother. I was like, all right, cool, Jason. Like, tell me about it. He's all, well, it's Dana White's Contender Series. I was like, sweet, when? He's all, August. And I was like, fuck, that's a long time away, guy. I was like, I don't want to wait that long. And the way they said it was, well, they really want to have, because it was the first time they were going to have siblings, brothers, on the show to compete on the same card, same night. And so I was like, you know what, I'm down, because my brother and I, we fought on the same card, same night before. So I was definitely excited about it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it was kind of funny hearing Dana White say he had no idea you guys were even brothers until, after the fight. Yeah, I was going to say.
I still think he's lying.
There's not a lot. I can't imagine there's too many people out there with the name Cosce in the fight game. But that's awesome. It kind of, you guys are from California, correct?
Yeah. So we grew up on the reservation. So
the Diaz brothers 2.0 or something coming into the UFC. I mean, that's
one thing. We have so much love and respect for the Diaz bros. Because we grew up watching them. They're the OG bros that were in the fight game. There's a lot of different brothers in the fight game. You obviously have the Pettis brothers, a couple other ones. You have the Shevchenko sisters, and you got a couple of different brother or sister duos that are in the UFC. But my brother and I, we just want to be known as the Cosce bros. We want to be compared to the Diaz bros, but we're not there. So we want to do our own thing with the sport. If we can even get to that high amount of stardom or fandom that they have, that means we've accomplished something on the same level they have. But what they've done in the sport, though, is definitely something not a lot of people get to attain to. So if we even get half of that, that'd be great. But my brother and I, we definitely want to just make a name for ourselves and put where we're from on the list.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And last thing before we get into a couple fights, a lot of people start with wrestling and they transition into MMA when college is over, high school is over. What's your story? How did you transition into the MMA game? Did it start with wrestling?
Yeah, I grew up wrestling my whole life. But I was a multi-sport athlete kid. I played every sport you can think of. And even if I didn't like it, I still wanted to do it because I didn't want to be at home. I wanted to be out on a trip. So I grew up doing wrestling, football, basketball, track. Played a year of golf, so been getting back into golf more the last was when COVID was around. I was like, fuck, what do I do now, guys? So I picked up golf a little bit. But soccer, baseball, all that stuff. It's all fun. I like playing all sorts of sports. I have a couple of buddies and they set up a volleyball tent. I'll play volleyball too. I don't care. I just like to have fun. I like doing something athletic, outdoorsy, going swimming, hiking, rock climbing. But it was definitely wrestling. And then from a young age, my brother and I, we grew up on Dragon Ball Z, and so my dad would have us watch Dragon Ball Z, and then he'd have us spar and beat the shit out of each other with boxing gloves. So that's kind of where we learned to get that love for fighting.
Stay tuned for part 2 with our UFC 275 breakdown, and in the meantime, download the Thrive Fantasy app, the home for all your sports fantasy needs. And when you do, use the promo code TheParlay, get a 100% deposit match bonus, and if you deposit a minimum of $10, you will get some free contest entries. Again, the promo code is TheParlay, or you can go to the link in my bio to sign up that way.